Hey, welcome back to Soda Time Restoration. We're back on that 6-case vertical, and right now we're going to try to get the trim, the light piece in. If you're looking for that video of how to change the switch and the ballast and how to wire it, this will be a great video for you. So I'm going to grab a couple of things and we'll be right back. Hey, welcome back. We're going to start tonight, and I'll get a little bit of close-up on here so you can kind of see what we're kind of dealing with tonight. Typically, when you get one of the, I say the holder that holds the bulb, the ballast area, it's going to have a lot of stuff. And really, the main thing that we want to get buffed tonight is this area right in here. And you'll see a little bit of rust on this one down at the other end there. Not too bad. I've seen them worse, but we really want to get this looking the best. So tonight we'll start out with some steel wool, and then we're going to finish with our Vivid Restore, hopefully to get that gloss back as if we've really buffed this thing to a high buff. So we're going to start in an area here across this main plate, clean that up, and then come back in with our Vivid Restore. So we'll get started here and see how it works. If you got a lot of rust, I like using steel wool. That'll be really aggressive on that part of it. I think this is triple-aught steel wool. That's looking pretty good. I'll give you a shot before we go to the Vivid Restore. It will get the bulk of that rust off. Steel wool is probably what most people have used forever. Great product. I remember an SOS pad had a little bit of soap basically in the product. I'm not even sure if they even make that anymore, probably showing my age, but SOS pads were definitely popular in the 60s and 70s that I can remember, and I'm sure they're probably still sold, just not a lot of people probably looking for that product anymore. This part here is the top. The bottom one is the one that's the bad one. It's the one in the moisture zone. As you can see, got a lot of rust on it. Probably should have shot this with a little bit of soap and water first. We'll see what we can get here without getting it too wet. It's trying to come off. Got some deep rust in this one. We're going to see if we can get it out of there. We're going to spray a little bit of cleaner on it, see if a little bit of liquid will change it here. It's getting better. Try a fresher piece of stainless too, see if that changes our world any. So we're going to try this. It's not like sandpaper, but it is. We use this on aluminum heads and stuff. It's a 3M product. It's a roll-lock, and I'm not for sure on the number. They don't have it stamped on the product, but it's plastic. We use this on aluminum. You use anything very aggressive, it will strip the metal off of a head. So we use this on aluminum. So we're going to see how this does. I've done a little corner here, and if you remember, that was a lot more stuff there. It's the only thing I found that would take this off, including scraping it with a razor blade. So I'm going to give you a little shot of this middle section here where I'm at, and we'll see if we can bring this thing back to life. So here we go. It is getting it a little piece at a time. That chunk is gone. We're going to go to this middle one now. It's getting there. One little piece left there, if you can see that. But not bad, not bad. I haven't been on it very long either. These back areas are going to be the toughest part since I can't get the buffer back in there. but pretty good. Just about got it all. We're getting close, getting real close. All right, we're gonna come back with a little bit of a buff round on it now and see how, I mean, that's a major change right there. That had a lot of rust on it that we took off. Hopefully Sean can get a before and after on that, because that was a major transformation there. Give it one more hit here. We're gonna try a little buff pad on it now. See if it'll pull it out, bring some gloss back. That did a really good job. I'm liking that. Now, I'm gonna flip it to a compound pad. Doing all this with a drill. I'm gonna use our Infinity 3 compound with this sponge pad. Then we'll clean it up. Then we'll go on with some Vengeance. Next step. We'll see how this step does. If this does really good, I may go directly to polishing it by hand. We'll see how this goes though. That did fairly good. I really like it compared to where we started at. We're miles from where we started at. Let's wipe this down right now. Now let's take the Vivid Restore to it. Not gonna take much. Let's take off about 1 inch. Start down here. And you can see some black coming off, which there should be. A little bit of detail. I know this is not shown that much until you open the door, but it really makes a difference in detail if you get into some of these little areas like this that don't get a whole lot of attention usually. So to kind of go back, I used steel wool. Steel wool did great on the regular stuff. It looked like it wasn't phasing the rusty stuff, and it was stuck. One of those sprays that you saw in one of the videos was carburetor cleaner. It didn't phase it. So the only thing I saw that really busted it off was the 3M plastic bristle. That baby worked. I was impressed. I've used that before, but not too many times you get into it. Usually you can use steel wool on this and be done. But this one here decided it was gonna test my abilities if I could get it off. It began to question my abilities there for a bit, but we got it off. I'm gonna give it a really good scrub down with the Vivid Restore and see what it's gonna look like when we buff this off. The upper and lower plates should mirror each other now. It's gonna be tough to tell which one is. Actually, I think I've buffed out the lower plate to a higher gloss right now, just to be honest with you. It is really looking nice. One little spot in the corner back here I'm working on. It's coming, but I couldn't get my buffer back in there, so I'm using a razor blade on it right now. It looks like it's getting it. There we go. All right, let's wipe that down. Oh yeah, big difference. It's almost polished out to a chrome finish. Hopefully everybody's seeing that. Sometimes video doesn't do that great on that stuff, but take a look at that. That had a lot of rust buildup on it, and we were able to get it off. Didn't take too long. We probably got, I don't know, 30 minutes in it. Probably, if the rust wasn't on there, we would have been already done. But wow, big difference there. So the Vivid Restore will bring that glow back. That's what I love. If this is the first time you've seen this product, Vivid Restore, Amazon only right now, $19.95. Obviously, if you got Prime, you got free shipping, but you can buy 1, 2. Hopefully, we got enough stocked at the site right now to cover the orders. If not, we can get more shipped there pretty quickly. So, but yeah, that is what it takes. A little bit of time and attention. We got all that rust off. It for a plate that's at the bottom of the machine, which will go right down here. It'll be at the bottom there. We want that very, very nice. Man, that's just gonna look wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So hang on. We're gonna clean up a little bit more stuff here, and we're gonna bring the door up here, and we'll get this installed. So hang on, we'll be right back. Okay, let's see if we can get the framework put in there, and we'll get it tightened up a little bit. Then we'll flip it over and we'll start working on our lights. So make sure you get this gasket on this inside put in. You'll have to cut it to fit, and bring your trim piece up like so, and like that. This will go down inside. The little bump area will be sticking out like so. Like that, and then we'll get our screws put in. Make sure your gasket is pretty well the same all the way across. Once you get it to that point, you can go ahead and get your screws put in. That's looking good. All right, that's looking good. We've got these bottom and top face pieces. I like to use a really flat-headed screw on these. We may have to change these, but I'm going to go ahead and put these regular ones in, at least to hold it all in place. We can always take those back out. One more. All right, the face piece is in. As you can see, that stainless in there is just glowing. I mean, it looks really good. That's where you want to have it. I'm gonna give it another little bit of a wipe down since we got it in there. Man, it did really, really well. We're gonna flip the machine over. We'll get it off of here and get it to where we can work on the light assembly. Let you look at that now that it's in the machine. Does that not look? Look at that bottom. You remember how that bottom looked? It looks like brand new piece in there now. That's what we want. We've got the ballast already mounted. When you buy the ballast, you will get the switch. You cannot buy a switch and use an old ballast. It won't work. You've got to put a new ballast in. So while you're in there, go ahead and change everything out. So we will be following the instructions, and I'll have Sean put this up in case somebody wants a screenshot of it. I do have we'll stick this up on there so you can kind of follow along. We're going to start at the top. We're going to work our way to the bottom. Obviously, the first thing you're going to put in is the button switch. Nothing difficult, pretty easy actually. So the button switch is going to be coming up through this hole. So take the nut off the top, the large one, leave the bottom one on there. You're going to stick it, we'll stick the wires through first through this hole. Both wires through there. Stick your switch up through. If I can get it to go, there it goes. While you've got that right there right now, put your nut back on. We'll go ahead and tighten that up while we're here. We don't want that thing, if that thing ever gets loose, you want to make sure it gets really good and tight there. You may have to hold on to your switch a little bit so you can get it tightened down. That's pretty good. All right, that's step one. Pretty easy. You will have two wires coming out of there. So we're going to be looking at I'll kind of flip back and forth on there, but we're at the switch. One of the black wires is going to connect to a white wire. The other black wire is going to run all the way out of the machine. Pretty easy one to do right now. So we're going to get a white wire off of the ballast hooked up to one of the blacks. So that's our next step. And this white wire right here is the one we're going to use. There's only one on the ballast. There's one white and one black coming out of this side. The other black, it will go down out of the cabinet also. So those are your two main leads coming out. So we're going to get one of these hooked up here. So we're going to have to piece together a little bit of a wire here. Get just a little piece. We'll get this put together. So we'll get a butt connector. I like using one that you can put on, crimp, and then heat it, and it's got heat shrink wrapped around the butt connector, which makes life a lot easier than having to tape everything up. So we're gonna crimp this one here first. We'll get it crimped down. You'll see in the metal area there that you're gonna crimp, and then the rest of it will be heating this whole thing up. We'll go ahead and put this other piece in, get it crimped up. I always give them a tug, make sure they're good and tight. All right, get another butt connector. I always leave a little bit of slack in here in case something we need to change. Give us a little bit extra always. All right, circuit one off the switch is done. We'll go to the next one, and then the leg off of the other switch, that one is gonna go clear out of the cabinet. So let me get a little bit of wire here put together. And I'm using 16-2. The 16 is the gauge, the 2 it's got 2 braids. I'll probably separate this off so we can deal with it, but I'll go ahead and cut my length right now. Get this fed through everywhere where I want it to go. Obviously it's going to go into the bottom of the cabinet, so I'm going to leave me probably quite a bit extra. So we're up here. I'm going to split this, and I'm only going to use one wire, so I'm going to actually take one of these off. We'll let that feed through. I could have bought single wires, but I always buy this wire because usually you're using it as some of your wiring on your compressor. Okay, so let's get that one attached. We'll heat shrink all these probably in one setting. There we go. Add another butt connector on there. And this wire will go all the way down to the compressor. It's going to attach to a little connector head that we've got down there to connect up to. So we want to definitely have it long enough. We don't want to have to put another butt connector in there anywhere. It'd be one circuit all the way. Feels good. Get this one connected up. There it goes. Get it crimped. Give it a tug, feels good. All right, while we've got it in this position, we're at this spot right now, we will go now off of the light switch, and there should be you should have 2 blue wires coming out of your ballast. Kind of show you where we're at. The 2 blues will connect to a black and a white, which won't matter just as long as you connect both of these onto your sockets here, your 2 little screws. We'll lay those out about like that. Strip those off a little bit. Put a couple of eyelets on there. Crimp them down. Give them a little tug. They feel good. We'll probably wrap those with a little bit of electrical, but these will be connected here. So let me get a little bit of electrical tape. I do not have heat shrink on those particular ones. I like using the 3M Super 33. It handles just about all temperatures. You can really get different grades of electrical tape. You can get really very crazy high price stuff, and you can get some really cheap stuff. I like getting about middle of the road. 33 is not that cheap, but you wrap it one time, you come back years later, it hasn't unraveled. It's in the same shape as it was before. Okay. Let's attach those right now. Let me grab me a screwdriver here. After this connection, we'll have the top side all wired up. I've had many people ask me, like, why don't you just reuse that old ballast? I've done it, you know, and you just never know. Something 50, 60 years old, you just never know when that thing's gonna time out, and it's a major ordeal. It's not horrible, but it's not an easy thing then to get back in here to do it. So no more money than it costs for the new switch, new button switch, and a ballast. This is the best time to do it, even if you're just doing a little update. Probably some people are doing some LED bulbs, which I still have a fluorescent on this one here that we're going to be putting in. Okay, the blue ones are in. Don't over tighten that. That is a very, very brittle piece. Get it good and snug. It's not going anywhere. We'll come back in and do the heat shrink on those. We'll move on down. All right, next one to get you've got two reds that then come out, and you want to do the same thing on this one. So the two blues go to this end, to the other end, the two reds will come to this end. Obviously they're a little bit long, so we're going to snip them off a little bit here. Get that crimped on. Wrap them right quick. Get the other one on. So it's pretty simple. Get your reds on one end, your blues on the other. You'll have a white lead that then goes up to your button switch, and the other lead that comes out will then go out of the cabinet to the electrical source that we're going to be tying into. There's one. Get the other one in. And there's the second one. All right, we've got a black, kind of show where we're at right now. Coming out of the ballast, you'll have one of your blacks that's here will go, that comes out of the ballast. Well, right here, as you see coming out of the switch, you'll have a white and then you'll have a black. There is a black right here. This black right here is the one that's going to go, like it says, goes to main power. And that's this one right here. So we'll get a butt connector on it right now. Get it crimped on. I like to have most of my connections all inside, so nothing is outside. Obviously when we get to the compressor, I'm sure we'll have some. So now we're gonna get some cord here, some wire. Show you kind of where we're coming through at here. I'm gonna kind of estimate here a little bit. I can always slip a little bit back up in the cabinet. It'll go down. I'll leave a little bit because I like to route it inside the cabinet, so I like to have a little bit extra. Let's see what that does there. Down and around. We're gonna go with that. Hopefully I gave myself enough there. All right, now we should have another single lead here that we can tie into this other one. Get that one crimped on. All right, so we got both our wires out. We will do a little heat shrinking right now. This will melt it down to the wire, get it really nice and tight and waterproof it. Any moisture getting in there. There's one down. The little mini torches are the best. They put out a really real fine little tip of a flame. If you try to use a bigger torch, it'll do it, but it's just almost too much, and you don't want to melt your fitting. You just want to get it heated up to where it melts down like that. Okay, keep going here. Keep turning it, keep moving it. You don't want to keep it in one spot or it will melt your heat shrink down. But just like that, it is locked on. Okay, so we got our wires coming out. Probably our next step, either we'll get our insulation and our backing on, but hang on and let me get a couple things here and we'll be right back. The next step is getting the insulation back in, getting our bottom bracket door piece installed. So we're going to cover that tonight and getting the back put on. We'll get this bottom bracket piece put on. Goes on the bottom of the door. Your 6 case and your 110s. Probably about the only machines I've ever had maybe a bottom piece on there. Might have been a Jacobs or something out there that had a bottom extended piece. But we're going to get this bolted on right now. So before you bolt all your wiring, get it all done, make sure you've got that plastic holder that goes around. It's kind of like a grommet. Get that installed in there, and that will keep that from rubbing on that wire. Since this door is opening and closing, make sure you get that. We'll go ahead and let's get this bottom piece attached to the door right now. Run your wires through that one slot. If you remember when I took this off, you can go back the original video. It was really in good shape. All the bolts all come out real nicely, which was amazing. I've had several people comment that they wish theirs come apart that easy. So always check that. There's probably, new inserts that you're going to have to put in to get that all working. But you want this very tight. I've seen some of the bolts, you took them apart, the inserts were all rotted out. So make sure when you're putting this back together, everything tightens up really good. We're going to tighten this up right quick. Scoot this up on here. There we go. All right, there we go. That's feeling good. We will get some insulation installed right now. All right, let's get our back cover ready to go on, and we'll continue on. That's all looking good. So make sure when you're putting the screws into this area right here where this light bulb is at, watch your length of the screw that you got going in there, or it will give you trouble because you'll be screwing right into your light. So just a word of advice there, but let's get started on this. We'll get it screwed down. When you start out, don't go too tight so you can make some adjustments. And this is where you need the short ones, which I will get to it here. Okay, let's get the ones here by the light in, the little short ones. All right, all the screws are in. Hang on, we'll flip this over. All right, let's go on to get the trim piece finished off here on the entry, the selection door area. All right, we're gonna go to the next step, getting all the entry plating done, polished up. We'll get this put inside here so we can get our door gasket on. All right, we're gonna polish these out. I've kind of cleaned these up a little bit. I'm gonna use the Vivid Restore as the finishing product on this, just to kind of clean them up. I've used this quite a bit on most of my machine operation stuff. And as you see, it takes some stuff off. Let's wipe that one down. Oh yeah. I don't know if we got any good video of this when we took it out, but they were rough. This cleaned up pretty nicely though. Get a shot of it here. That really did good. If you've got a little block, I like putting some of these on a little block like this. Kind of holds it on there. You can get all your sides that way. Makes it easier to hold it. These are the two end cap pieces that go inside that tray area where it comes out at. Oh yeah, a lot better. Let's get our last piece here. This is obviously where the light comes through. Nice. So when you're getting ready to do your final buff on any of your metals, if it's really corroded over, get the steel wool out, get that off. I use the Vivid Restore as a final product like we're using it right now. It gives that luster back to anything chrome, stainless, your pot metals, any metals, brass. But Vivid Restore, get it on Amazon right now, $19.95. But great product. We've had it on there now. I think we're probably coming close to 2 years now. So your next step, obviously, and I've fought it before, but if you take a look at your how that gasket goes in, you want to take I do this just to save myself the hassle of trying to get it all tucked in. So the skinny side is always on the inside of the door. So you're going to see the skinny side is going to be mounted just like this. And then, excuse me, just like this. And then you're going to have your wide side. Make sure we're seeing this on camera all right. The wide one will be on the front of the door. So I always take my gasket and I fit it into the light side first, something like this. Slip it into your gasket, do all your gasket mounting now, and then all you got to do is tuck it in when you get on the door. Everybody might have their way of doing it. This is just kind of the trick I've found works. So make sure your wide side goes to the gasket side. Slip it in behind the gasket. Fairly easy to do outside of the machine. Not so easy in the machine. So get these all mounted in there. I've done it different ways, but I thought, well, we'll do this one this way. So right now, it all is tucked in here. So if you look at your gasket right now, we've got everything laid out. If you want, take your last piece, your end caps. If you want to tuck those in right now, you could. Do a pre-fit here, right quick. So you'll have a little hoop there that goes around your light switch. So make sure, do your trial fitment first. So that little dip needs to be on the bottom side, but make sure you get the right one in there, and that is not right, and this one should be right. Yeah, so the switch is kind of to the more towards the inner of the door, so we're going to put this one in with the dip right here. We're going to put this in right here at the top. It seems like I've always put that in last. We're going to try this. You know what? I think I am going to do that last because I just remembered something. I think you get it in there, you got to really tuck it in. So we're going to just leave the two rails on. So follow me over here. We'll see how this goes. We'll drop this in. This side here, the wood side, it'll go on just like that. Real super easy. This other one has got to fit over that door liner, and you'll have to kind of pinch it on. And sometimes I will start at one corner and then work my way up or down. We'll see which way we're going to start here. There we go. And now the only thing you need to do is put your screws in. So hang on, let me grab my screwdriver, and I might turn on the light just to give us a little bit of light here. See if our light works. Man, it does. So it gives us a little bit of light in the cabinet area here now. So let's get some screws and we'll get those mounted in. There's one. There's two. I think that needs to be pushed back just a little bit here. Make sure we got it mounted all the way. There it goes. Now I can see the hole. That makes mounting that gasket a lot better. We've got these over here to put on right now, and it's already snapped in really nicely. And I may grab a stubby screwdriver right now to get these three in. Critical spot to have a little short screwdriver for sure. I don't have the lens in there right now, so that helps. There's that one. I should have got a little bit shorter ones for this side, but I think I'll get these in. It's going to take a little bit more work. Okay. That feels good. That one's tight. That one's tight. All right, and the only thing we got left is the caps. And remember, our light switch is off to this one side, and only one of these caps will actually work that way. And I'll get this around here where you can see a little bit better. Make sure that notch is on the switch side. Yeah. Don't think you would have got that in one shot. And we're in. Now the bottom one, obviously the bottom one does not have a cutout need, so it's get it past this. And so if you think about it, it's a little easier if you do it before you put that last screw in there. There we go. Gotta make sure you get it on the lip of that gasket so it seals properly, like so. And we'll get that screw in. Perfect. Last thing to mount is this little trim piece here, and be looking at then the hinges. So let me grab my last trim piece here. That will go in there just like that. Before you tighten them up too much, get them all, your alignment done first. All right, we have successfully got everything in. Only thing we need to put in is our lens right now, and the stainless work come out super nice. The gasket really sets this piece off really nicely, trim piece. The only thing left really here is our selection door. So hey, I hope everybody enjoyed this part of the series. My apologies for taking a little longer than I thought, but man, the 6 case is going to be one that this series will be on there for a lot of people's help, how to take one apart and how to do it. And if you haven't been a subscriber, you've been watching our channel, hey, jump on. Every time we have a new edition come on, you'll get notice of it. Doesn't cost you anything. Support the channel. We appreciate it. We really do. And hopefully this next section, we'll be mounting this on the cabinet and putting that selection door on, and there's going to be just a very little left to do, a little bit of decaling. But thanks for staying with us tonight. We will catch you on the next one.